Got to do our intro.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
Welcome back to episode 9 of Real Estate Agent Mastery Podcast. We got some guest stars here today. You guys want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Sure. My name is Mark Noel, and I'm part of Rakan's first day home team.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm Nixon, and I am one of the leadership members of Keller Williams Wilmington.
There you go.
Hold on, that was too short, guys. I got to brag on you
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah. Seriously,
First of
that
all,
was crazy.
Mark is part-time in real estate right now, and he's already crushing it. You do 10 deals in the last 2 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And Lewis is an incredible leader. He's really digs into the KW models, and he's always there for you. Have you ever needed anything from Lewis that he wasn't able to help you out with?
To be fair, I probably call
He
Lewis
probably
too
should have
much.
kicked you out a couple
I
times.
probably call Lewis too much, so you know that.
Yep.
But yes, he's always there. I call him, I text him, and he's there and he'll answer whatever the question is. So,
which people don't realize, but you don't typically find at brokerages. So
yeah, no doubt.
just a quick shout out
Enough
there.
about me. Enough about
Cool. All right, so we're going to start off with guest list price. Matt has a recently sold property here in Newcastle County. We're going to have, 1 minute?
Yeah, I would say 1 minute. I'm gonna start that timer, but I'll let you know. Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
So, are you ready? I'm gonna go right now. All right. So the property's in Colonial Woods. Okay. So I know you know where that's at, which is the zip code 19803.
Mm-hmm.
4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2,100 square feet. So it's 2180. So 2,180. Okay. Condition is good. So it's split level home, multiple levels.
Okay.
The condition's actually really nice. Like the kitchen's nice.
Granite.
What's that?
I'm ready to roll.
Oh.
You're already. Okay. Jeez.
He's like the person that hits the
I'm guessing 485.
Okay. Are you guys already
2,100 square feet. How many beds and baths?
4 bedroom, 2 bathroom?
Okay.
You got 18 seconds left. And by the end.
Is there a lot? Like how big is a lot?
Yeah, the lot is point- 0.16 acres. So, basically a fifth, not even.
I'm just saying Mark's pretty damn close. That's a good size home.
2 driveway spaces,
North
no
Wilmington.
garage. Looks like there was addition. Like that's where they're getting some of the square foot. That's the time though.
If I had to put a range on it, I'd say 475 to 525. I'm going to say... No.
Okay.
I'm just thinking out loud here.
Listen.
thinking out
Wait. I'm just going to preface this. Okay. Yes, you have to guess one number, and you'll guess one number. The way we're going to do it, though, is if it's below, or if it's above 500,000, then you got to be within I think we were saying 20K.
Yep.
But if it's below 500K, then you have to be within 10K, right? So, you get a bigger range if
Right.
it's more expensive,
Right.
right? But you obviously still have to guess one number.
Mhm.
I got you. I already gave you my number.
Okay, got it.
I'll guess 465.
Mm. I'm going to go 495.
Okay.
What do we got?
Come on, you got it.
What am I?
480.
Whoa. Come on, baby.
Yeah, he
What'd you
had to
say?
take up the
Come on,
mic.
baby.
He
What'd
knew
you
the
say?
property.
485?
He knew the property.
good.
He must have known the property.
That was good.
Nah, there's no way. I mean, the kitchen is really nice. I'll have to show you I'll have to make sure I screenshot it because then we'll put the pictures up and everything. And I don't expect you to know the area as well,
Yeah.
which is fair. But that's pretty good.
Damn good.
How? Okay. All right. He tried to take he's ready to take
Hold
the
on.
mic.
Look. So this is who I've been learning from, just to let you know. Okay. All right.
Right before this, he's like, "Can you help me comp this property? Whatever." Blah blah blah. It's like, bro, we need your help, obviously.
I'm just making sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
So, look, 2 grades are better than 1 over.
Absolutely.
No, of course.
Absolutely.
No, that's fair. Okay.
Cool.
So we did that. That was good. That was short. So
Yeah. So what's our topic today?
ready?
Yep.
SOI. We're talking about SOI, referral-based business,
Yep.
repeat business. How do you nurture those people? How do you build relationships? That
Shit.
sort of thing.
Is this episode 10?
Nah, we're
I
9.
think so.
I thought
9.
8.
I think we're good 9.
I thought 8 was business building one, and then we did open house last week, which was 9.
We'll rock with 9. Man.
Whatever.
We'll rock with 9, man. We'll clean it up later.
Um,
All you got to know is the content's good. Like, does the episode number?
Yeah. So we did, if you look 2 episodes ago, we did the whiteboard business building plan, where we built out a plan to sell 30 houses a year, working 30 hours a week, right?
Yep.
So we had 3 buckets there. You had prospecting, which we worked on last week, which was open houses. You did a deep dive on that, talking about like pre-open house, during the open house, post-open house, what that all looks like. This week, we're going to talk about our SOI bucket.
Yeah.
Which is where you want to be, right? That's where everybody wants to be. You want the warm referrals, people calling you, having your phone ringing, all that stuff, right?
Right.
Work with people that you know, like, and trust.
No doubt.
So let's break it down. Let's talk about like what that looks like steps to build that database, to build that list up, and how you market to them, how you work with them, so you can do it in a value-driven, non-salesy way.
Right.
Right.
Good person to talk about this is probably Mark.
Mm-hmm.
You're a killer with SOI, to be honest. But the first thing that you did when you came on the team is kind of like the play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let you talk about it too, because I'm sure when people come to KW,
right,
you
have all
probably
the
build like
KW
kind
models.
of a plan, like, all right, when you're talking with the people that you already know,
Mhm.
family, friends, whatever, you could talk to that as well. So,
Yep.
I don't know who you want to go first.
What do you mean?
So SOI, we're talking
by
about,
the play, though. What do you mean by that?
So obviously that you have that huge list of people.
right. So what's
What-
the first
what
thing
is
we
that
did
even-
when you
what-
joined on the team?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
start going through the calling the people that are you're closest to on your cell phone.
Yeah. So it's like what's the first thing Rakan had you do basically?
That's the very first thing.
So what is that?
Yeah,
The SOI calls. Yeah. Get it put into Lofty, but I'm still working on that right now. But going and calling everyone, and just let them, just saying hi, how are you doing? Not even letting them really know about real estate unless a question comes up, and just reconnecting to people. In the most part, And the thing is that you don't realize how people still will love to hear your voice, because most people just have the same thing they do every single day, right? And then you hear something that breaks it up a little bit that you haven't heard somebody in a while.
Right.
You're like, man, the last time we hung out, man, it was a great time.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I just had some kids. I heard you had some kids too, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So the reconnection really is something that I kind of miss myself. So kind of,
Absolutely.
to be honest.
But go deeper on that list though. Like, so here, take the mic.
Yep.
Because obviously you built the
Mhm.
whole SOP for that.
Yep.
So just talk about that list. When he exported, what does that even
Mhm.
mean? Like,
So
this list, what does it entail?
Yeah, so you got to build a list and get everybody you can think of that you know on to paper, right? So you can just see it visually. It's all there. So first step is exporting your phone contacts, right? Get all your phone contacts in an Excel sheet.
Right.
Then you can export your social media contacts, right? Because you should also think of your social media like a CRM, your Facebook, Instagram account, everything like that, LinkedIn, whatever it is, right? Then start thinking of other people you might know, but maybe you don't have them on Facebook. They're not in your phone, right? Mark's done a great job with us at church, right? He's probably, I don't know if you had Jen or Sean's number before we started working with them, did you? No. So perfect example, Jen and Sean. You probably didn't have their email or their phone number. You see them every week, you know them, but you never had a reason to get their contact information, right? So you invited them to our Spring Fling, our client event that we had coming up, right? And then you got their contact information. They had tried to sell their home like this time last year. No, it was like November. Yeah, it was back the fall time. Yeah. Didn't sell. It was on the market for like 6 months, something like that.
For a while.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't even get somebody coming through the house after they put it on the market for at least 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So I was like, whoa.
But back up though. So when you say export your stuff, how do I export? What am I going one by one, like in my phone contacts? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, so I don't know like Google or Samsung phones that well, or Android or whatever. They might have some way to do it built into the phone. I know on iPhone you can download an app called Covey, COVVE, export. It's like $2 in the App Store, and it'll turn your whole phone contact list into an Excel sheet. So you can export it, right?
And what are like the columns, the top of the columns, the titles per se, like?
Yeah. So we'll get there. So first you do phone contacts, right? You do social media contacts, and then you add people that, again, maybe they're part of your like PTA or something like that. They're, other parents at your kid's soccer team, like whatever it is, right? Just start doing that. Add your neighbors, right? All of your neighbors nearby. You probably don't have their phone number because you know where they live, right? Next door. but you should be adding them too. I'm sure that if they recognized your face, they would be a contact, right?
Right.
So you do all that, and then you get it all into one Excel sheet, and your columns are going to be name, number, email, address, notes, and then social media, Instagram, Facebook, right?
Got it.
And your goal is to connect and fill in that contact information as fully as you possibly can.
Right.
Right.
Well, okay. So, Lewis, then if you want to talk about like what KW maybe talks about,
like how that plays into it.
Yeah. Someone's coming on, like one of the first things you want to start doing, because it's compounding, is working on your referral base. What like KW frameworks or models, like what's the play for that?
Yeah, sure. So we focus on what we call the 4 laws of a database. So law number 1 is building the database, which you guys like spot on and is exactly what we do as an office. So it's, again, getting the people in there. When you're putting them in, it's probably going to be the easiest time to build it the way you want it.
Yep.
Right. It's easier to build a database as far as like the categories, the tags with 200 or 300 people than it is you waiting until you have 10,000 people in there.
Right.
So we encourage people to like build it the right way in the beginning. Law number 2 is feed it every day. A lot of people build the database, like they put who they have in, but they don't focus on like adding people to it. Right. So we focus on like, you got to feed it. So how do you go from 200 people in there to 300 people in there within the next 6 months? Right. Then law number 3 is adding systems to your database. So what type of systems are you going to activate so that way you have communication going out to your database even while you're out showing homes or taking appointments, right? So building systems. And then the last one, I know this seems like a no-brainer, right? But people, like, it makes me sad.
Communicate with
this,
right?
Is service the leads that come from it.
Yep.
Right? So when leads come from your database.
So we're back, as you may have noticed.
We lost
we were
somebody.
missing somebody who had to head out, and we recorded about probably 45 minutes of this episode, and then found out the camera turned off at 15 minutes. So
if it makes you feel any better, because it doesn't make us feel any better, but
It doesn't.
we're so used to that at this point. Honestly, we didn't even know we were reacting. We just
No.
kind of knew the deal. We just
All
had to
right.
re-record it.
do it again.
So
right.
last thing that was being said was Lewis was talking about the laws. Now, did he finish that part?
So he ended up on servicing the leads that come your way from the database.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay,
Cool.
so that's the 4th law, which is a no-brainer, like he
Yep.
said. And people don't do it, is servicing the leads,
Yep.
making sure you're actually delivering whatever you said you were going to deliver
Right.
or is expected as a realtor to
Yep.
do. Like just being a good realtor, like
Yep.
duh, right? Okay, so, really, then we're going to start talking about systems, probably. Okay, so I think we talked about building the database,
Right.
putting people in there, filling in the information that needs to be filled in, which I don't think we talked about too much. So I'll just say one piece about it real quick. You had said you export your contacts into, like, from Covey into an Excel.
Yep.
One thing is everybody that maybe knows you, right, or that you just even know of. Let's just say social media is the only way you really have connected to them. Let's just say it's a mom's friend, your mom's friend or something. You know their first name, maybe you know their last name because you have them on Facebook. You don't have anything else.
Yep.
Well, you can put them in that Excel, right? And they're going to be missing pieces. They're going to be missing their phone number, their email, maybe you have their social media, but let's just say they're missing all that stuff. Well, now it's your job to put together the puzzle pieces and find those. That's the game right there, is finding all their contact information.
Right.
That way you can market to them, right?
Yep.
So that's one.
I mean, a perfect example. I'm guilty of this too. I mean, I'm not perfect about it. We just added more mailing stuff this year versus the last couple of years. We only did a very limited mailing, like direct mail stuff. So we really ramped up the direct mail this year. And I just helped one of my best friends from high school close on his house in Newark, right? They came in for a buyer consult. I showed them 4 houses. They bought one. Done. Easy peasy deal, right? He was still living at home, and I had his parents on social media, but obviously never had their phone number or email. They lived a couple of houses down from me. I never really had a reason to get my friend's parents' information, right? But I added them to our direct mail campaign, and they got our Phillies postcard schedule that we sent out. And he called me off of that, and he was like, "Hey, man, my girlfriend and I are looking for a home. We are actually working with somebody. They almost bought a home with someone else, but she went on like maternity leave, something like that, and just kind of ghosted them. So they're like, hey, can we work with you?" I was like, Absolutely. Right.
No duh. So,
Yeah.
Think about it.
I mean, I
But
guess
if that postcard hadn't gone out to them,
right.
they probably would have bought a home. I would have seen them on social media.
Yeah, if you would
closing with
just
somebody else, right?
they're not in your direct immediate contacts.
Yep.
Your phone contacts. You would have just never marketed to
Yeah.
them. But you're like,
Well, and I do have my friend in my phone contacts, right? But I made the assumption that even though we're not super close anymore, I made the assumption that he would think of me when he thought of real estate.
right.
But he didn't, obviously.
Can I add something to what he just said? Don't fact check me on this. Someone told me this stat, okay? But they said that, to your point, why it's important to have people in your database versus just on social media platforms, because the algorithms, right? When you post something on social media, like for Facebook, less than 10% of your friends see what you post, right? Versus if you have 100 people in your database and you send 100 direct mail pieces to those 100 people, 100% of those people are going to see that.
Yep.
So it's always so important to scrub whoever you have on your social platforms,
Right.
and put them in your database as well, so they're seeing what you're putting out there.
Yep. Yeah, you want that omnipresence. You want, man, Rakan's everywhere. Matt's everywhere. Lewis is everywhere. I see him on social media. I see him, in the mail. I see he calls me, texts me, video text, whatever, right? Email, like all over the place.
Social media piece. I was just giving some advice from someone that does a lot of business, mainly from SOI or whatever. And this sounds also, what's the word? But it sounds like you should know this, right? But I think we fall victim to not doing it. But just always looking busy on social media. Even if you it got to a point where he was telling me, even if you're not actually doing showings, you could just be in your car, post a picture. You're not doing any showings today, anything. And you could just post a picture and it just be like, great day to do showings. He's not doing any showings, but he just looks like he's busy. It takes 2 seconds to do that. But over time, you just look like you are like the man, whether you are or not.
I know an agent that does a couple sales a year and looks like he sells about 100.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's the reason you'll sell homes. I'm not saying that's the reason you'll sell homes, but I mean, I think it's just something it's easy to do, and it could get you a few. I mean, from my experience, I'm working with a couple people that are from social media, SOY, but people that I don't necessarily know.
Right.
Like I couldn't have told you their last name, before they reached out to me, and maybe I got their contact information, whatever.
Yep.
But just because I was always posting stuff on social media, looking like I'm busier than I already am.
Yeah.
So can we talk about systems then?
Yeah.
Go into that about each year, if you want to break it down to quarterly or monthly calls, emails, direct mail. What are you doing as the team leader, or what you should be doing as an agent?
Yeah. So it's again back to the omnipresence, right? By air, land, and sea. So you got to have a direct mail component to it. You should have something that's physical, the flyers that Mark will hand out at church or at his barbershop. You should have an email component to it. You should be calling, texting at least 4 times a year, right? What else? Email. We said email, right? Yeah. Yeah. So breaking it down, we do 12 postcards a year, right? So everyone in your SOI Met database is seeing your beautiful face 12 times a year in direct mail. Plus, we do multiple invitations to each event, right? And then we do calls around each event. So it's a real easy call to make, right? You're coming from contribution. If somebody comes out to our Christmas movie, for example, we do a Christmas movie, we do Elf, something like that. Bringing a family of 5 or 6 to the movie and paying for tickets, popcorn, and a drink for everybody, and getting a bottle of wine to take home. That's a couple $100, right? It's probably $200 nowadays. And that's all free, all covered by the team, right? And it's just a lot of fun. They come out in ugly sweaters, pajamas, stuff like that. We'll do an ugly sweater contest and give them a basket for whoever wins. That's a lot of fun. So these are easy calls to make, right? And that's really what drives it is making it a valuable call rather than, like you said, Lewis, instead of calling because you want something, you're calling to invite them to something. And hopefully you get something out of it, right? But It's really just building that database over time and staying in front of them.
If you want to talk about that calling piece, I'm not sure the last recording got that, but you had mentioned the wanting to feel salesy, right? If you wanted to talk about that again.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that I hear a lot from agents when we get to the part where like, hey, call your database, and you're like, like I actually hear from people that are like, I'd rather call a stranger than to call the people that I know. And I think they have this fear that, again, they're going to sound salesy, and then that their friends, their relationships are going to be like, oh, like here comes Lewis calling again, asking for business, right? But to your guys' point, it's just all about the approach, right? Where, again, having that, flicking the switch to change your mindset that I'm calling to help them with something. I'm not calling to necessarily get help for myself in a selfish way. Like, hey, can you come? Do you want to come to this event? Cool. Hey, is there any vendors that you would like me to connect you with? Do you need an attorney? Do you need a contractor? Right? That type of thing. So I think if you call with that mindset, it really does help if your intentions are like true in that way. Right?
Yeah. And so let's just say you don't have the events, though. I mean, you see on Facebook it's someone's birthday. I know you were talking about this earlier. Like, what's stopping you from just calling them instead of being the one out of 100 people that just comments on the, it's my birthday post or whatever that they'll never see, right? Actually calling them and just saying, hey, like, happy birthday, like, hope you're doing well, like, what's new, blah, 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 just spark it up. That's an easy call. Everybody has a birthday every year, so like, no, that's a no-brainer. They post that it's their kid's birthday or something, like, hey, and it could be valuable, like, hey, I would love to drop something off for your kid, like, do you have any ideas, something like that? Like, that's easy. Maybe you don't have the client events yet, but I mean, it's very, once you join a team or something, you might have access to that.
You can start small with the events too. Start really small. Just take some people out to lunch or something, do something at your house. You could have like a house party. If you have a pool, maybe you have like a pool party, something like that, right?
Yeah, well, the one you said, I mean, about a picnic, I mean, that's about
have a picnic.
That could be almost as cheap as it gets. In terms of taking somebody to a third party
strategically spot. Like what we do as a team too, if you start doing events, what you'll learn is certain types of people show up to certain events, right? So I have clients that always come to our Christmas movie and come to our Blue Rocks game, but never come to our Spring Fling or Fall Fest, because those are like cookouts. It's more social oriented, and they're just more like quiet or introverted, and they just don't want to go hang out with a bunch of people, right, that they don't know. Even though it's fun, I think it's fun, and a lot of people do think it's fun, right? And then on the flip side, you have some people that want to talk all day long and get along with everyone they meet, but they don't want to sit in the movie theater and watch a Christmas movie, whatever. Or they don't care about baseball, they don't care about Blue Rocks, whatever it is, right?
That's a good point.
So kind of switching up like the styles of events you have too will help get better engagement and get more people out to them.
I like that. Okay.
If I can add something, when you are making these calls, I think it's important, if you can, to take notes. Right? So if you're calling and you're learning something about your the person in your database's life, like what's going on, and like a really cool acronym that I always tell people to keep in mind is FORD, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams, right? And so if that's role played out, it's like, hey, like, how's your family doing, right? But that family portion is a lot easier if you take notes based on the last call, that like, oh, Timmy's going to college in 3 months. Oh, how does Timmy like his first semester?
Right.
It's more rich conversation. So take notes in your database, because then the next call is so much easier.
Absolutely.
And the one you'll hear all the time is this person's in the hospital or whatever. So like, calling about that, just like, hey, honestly, I was just thinking about blah, blah, blah. I know they were in the hospital. Like, how are they? Dude, how much trust do you build with
just
that?
Care, just check in,
and just actually care. And by the way, you should actually just care. I mean, these are real people. Like, like at the end of the day,
right.
What's Alex Hormozy said? He's like the easiest way to seem like you care is to just care.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny.
100%. So what else did we talk about? A couple examples. So I just gave an example of my friend who, we got the postcard and reached out to me. You want to talk about Martin?
Yeah, I'll talk more in depth about Martin. So we talked about some of the calls and everything, but to talk more about the other touches, so like direct mail, right? So I had someone that was more of a cold prospect. When I say cold prospect, I reached out to them cold call. And the first, time or two that we had talked, it was just, not necessarily interested or anything. And that's totally fair. Right. But the first time one of the first things that I had reached out to him to connect to him, a way that I connected with him, was a pot buy, and it was a pumpkin pie around the fall time, or whatever. And, when I dropped that off, it sparked up a conversation of like, hey, like we've actually thought about going to PR, so Puerto Rico. And then we didn't talk too much about it. It was super far out. They were unsure, whatever. And it maybe just talked about like how much their home might be worth. And we just had a small conversation about it. And, call them for the client events, whatever. Didn't end up ever coming out. Totally fine. I get it. They were busy and all. But
you stayed in front of them.
Stayed in front of them, right? Well, we did one direct mail piece that was a scratch off. So they would scratch off for St. Patty's, scratch off, I don't remember what the symbols were, but if they won, they'd get a bottle of Jameson. So this is creative direct mail.
If you had the pot of gold and they scratched it off, you got a bottle of Jameson.
Exactly.
And you got entered into a raffle to Catherine Rooney's.
Got it. Exactly. So, and you get to choose the person that would win the bottle or whatever, or the prize. So I picked them because I thought that time might be coming soon or whatever. I want to get back in front of them, have the excuse to like talk to them, whatever. So that piece of mail goes out. They never called me, but then I was like, because you know who wins, like, you know who to call. Like, you're like, hey, I got this piece of mail, or, I sent this out. Did you ever get it? They were like, oh my goodness. Like, yes, I actually been meaning to call you. What's crazy too is, we've been actually thinking about going to Florida, right? So that whole conversation sparked up just by staying in front. Now, the thing that they've admitted to me multiple times is that they had a realtor that they worked with to basically get that home, that they would work with, and they feel like they owed it to them. But at the same time, I was just always in front of them, kept talking to them, right? So we had just built a relationship where it was now me, that was going to be the person that worked with them, because I just kept talking to him. I dropped off the pie, with all the direct mail. Maybe he was on a market snapshot for the neighborhood, what's happening in the neighborhood. You call them, invite them to the events.
Yep.
Even if they don't come to the event, you don't get to talk to them. Just the fact that you invite them, though, is like huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's super huge.
They get all the emails leading up to it, the email afterwards, the direct mail, the call, text, video text, whatever it is, right? That's a great example of building a moat around your business, right? So the millionaire real estate agent Gary Keller talks about building a moat around your business, because most people know more than one realtor, right? I don't know probably anyone that doesn't know more than one realtor, but they could probably only name one realtor. Right. They probably, the other person that in their network that's in real estate, or multiple people, probably aren't advertising to them, probably aren't reminding them that they're in real estate, aren't doing the pop buys, not doing the direct mail, not doing the call, text, all that stuff, right?
I doubt any of them are really
providing
giving them value.
Yeah, exactly.
Inviting them to events and stuff. I mean, most realtors are willing to maybe send you a piece of mail, definitely send you an email, because that's real easy, right?
Cheap.
Send you a text, right? Give you a business card, whatever.
Maybe. I mean, some people don't even do that.
Yeah, it's
most
crazy.
people don't even do that.
Yeah,
it's really easy to do like 10 to 15 deals a year just from friends and family.
Yeah,
it's not hard.
Yeah, if you actually deposit everybody, into your list and everything.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll be closing on that property here soon. So I mean, it just goes to show, just staying in front of these people that even someone you don't know. Now imagine it's someone you do know. Imagine it is a mom, your mom's friend, or a family friend, whoever it is. Like, the trust is already there more than somebody that was just cold, right?
Yep.
They love that. I'll give you another example too. Mom's friend, right? I mean, she's yet to come out to a client event, but every time I invite her,
she's like, "Oh, thank you so
much." She's like,
much.
You guys are just you guys do so much for the community. I'm like,
yeah.
I guess for the community, if you want to put it that way. I mean, it's for like our clients, but I mean, obviously I don't say that, but I'm like, yeah, we do so much for the community, man. Like,
absolutely.
Helping people, change their lives, I guess. So that's another example, but
I love it.
It's funny.
Lewis, what are the two when you talk to newer agents, probably most likely, or agents that maybe have been in the business a while but aren't really producing at the level they feel like they want to be at, what are the two biggest things on database that they give you?
I think what I hear the most is that they feel that their database is not a good database,
Okay.
right? Like they'll say things like, "Oh, well, like my database, like they're not great. They won't buy a house, right? Or they're not the people like I really necessarily want to work with." Or there are some people, because we live in an area where people relocate to a lot.
Sure.
So people do say like, "Well, Lewis, I'm not from here originally,
right.
so I don't have a database." So those are probably two things I hear the most.
Gotcha.
What do you guys think about that?
Let me check and make sure this is.
I was actually just gonna say that.
We're good. We're rolling.
I was just gonna say that.
All right. All right. Great question, Lewis. I'm glad you brought that up. So, two things there. So, one, your database isn't good, right? Maybe you've lived in the area your whole life, but like you're just like, oh, these people, like they're never gonna buy a home or sell a home, whatever it is, right? That's bullshit. You have so much business in there that you don't know that you're losing every year. You really need to work the system and get on top of it, right? And clean it up and start doing all this stuff. Start doing the marketing, start doing events, providing value to those people and staying in front of them. I promise you, if you've lived in the area that you're selling real estate for 10 plus years, you probably know a couple hundred people easy that you should be working the system with, right? And from those couple hundred people, you should be easily doing 20 deals a year, if not more.
Another piece on that too is if you're saying, oh, my database isn't good enough, obviously that's stupid. But you think the people in your database don't know someone that could also use that, that as well? So, I mean, it's not just about those people, but obviously leveraging them. I mean, it's the same way like when I cold call, someone might say, I mean, this happens like literally all the time. This happens every single day. Hey, have you had any thoughts of selling with the high buyer demand in the neighborhood? Right. They say no. I say, okay, absolutely. That's no worries. Have you talked to any of the neighbors? Have any of them thought about selling? And then it's like, actually, the person I believe like 2 doors down, like they had a dumpster out, and I talked to them once, and they were like they had said something about it. Well, now you know who to call, right? Just give an example, like. Yep. It's that same sort of thing. You can leverage your database to get more people, right?
Yeah. We had an agent on our team who that's exactly what he said. He was like, like you don't get it, Rakan. The people in my database, it's not gonna work out, right? And so he never really leaned into it. And then one time he had his grandma came to our client event, our spring fling event at Lum's Pond, and she was like, "Hey, we're trying to move to Georgia, move back home, so let's sit down soon." And then we listed and sold it like a couple weeks later, right? And when I was like, asked him, I was like, so your grandma, you had her phone number, right? You know where she lived. You had all her contact information. Obviously, she knows, likes, and trusts you, right? Was she in the database? Was she getting our postcards and our client event invites? Somehow she had gotten that one, but she hadn't been on the whole system. Yep. And he was like, no.
Which, by the way, okay, even if that was true, like let's just say your database wasn't great. So to give you an example, I'm young, right? Maybe the people I went to school with aren't, the people buying it, buying homes. But at the same time, that's not an excuse to not start. Because it's an investment for 3 years from now. Are you going to be out of the business in 3 years?
Right.
No, I mean, if you're going to be a successful realtor, you're going to be you might be in that area for 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, you start that now. You're going to lose those opportunities if you don't start now, right? I mean, the best time, who says it? I mean, I don't know. Everybody says it, I guess.
The best time to plant a tree was yesterday.
But the next best time is now, right? Don't ever take my saying again, Real rap before I get mad. No,
you trying to pass like Warren?
Hey man, hey bro, hey stay over there, man. No, I'm playing.
I think that might be Plato.
Yeah, I could say a lot.
Thousands of years with Matt Davis's.
Listen, man,
ancient Greek philosopher.
Can I sound smart once? Like,
all right. So what was the other part?
No database.
No database.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. And actually, do you want to speak to that? I'll say a piece about that as well, but.
I mean, for me, I'll let Rakan throw in some other ones too. Open houses. I think that, you should be at a brokerage where you have open house opportunities. And I think like by far the easiest way, because if you're sitting at an open house, people are walking through the door, right? So your only job is to build rapport
Yeah.
and get their information,
Right.
right? So if you commit to a goal of doing 4 to 6 open houses every month, right, that's going to bring you minimum 40 people in your database every month.
You're going to crush it. Yeah.
You're going to crush it. So I think that's a very easy way to build a database. Do you have any other ones?
Yeah. So first of all, you do know people. Okay. You have a database.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a doctor, you have a dentist, you probably get your hair done somewhere. Maybe you cut it yourself. I don't know. God bless you if you do.
Shout out Kelly Diaz.
Does Kelly cut it himself?
No, I mean, he's starting to go to Mark now, but he cut it. He said he cut it himself for a long, long time.
Jeez.
No, I mean, he looks good. I mean, I'm not saying
it didn't look bad. No.
But he cuts it every like 3-4 days. So it's like, dude, yeah, whatever.
Sharp all the time. Yeah. Do you go to a restaurant frequently? Do you shop somewhere frequently and see the same people? Do you have kids? Are they involved in stuff? Are you involved in like PTA? Does your kid play soccer? Are there parents on the team that you know? You know people, right? Do you go to church? Like you absolutely know people. You should be marketing to the people that live near you. If you're in an apartment complex or something like that, you still have neighbors that live near you and they should all be getting mail from you, right? Maybe like home buyer seminar, first time home buyer program, stuff like that, right? There's a million different ways to do it. So one, you do have a database. You have more than you think. And two, you have to build it. Maybe you have to be intentional. Maybe you're not part of any clubs and you have to join a club, or you have to do this or join this community or group or whatever it is, right? And start building it. And three, for that one, start building your pipeline from other sources, right? You meet people at an open house, you do some cold calls, right? Like Martin's a perfect example. It was a cold call, right? He's moving out of state, but if he was staying around here, you would keep him on our marketing campaign, right? Mm-hmm. And then you would help him in the future probably, and maybe you'd help his daughter, maybe you'd help his friends, family, he'd refer people to you, right? That's how you build that database, right? What paid leads, whatever it is, right? I did a lot of paid leads when I got started and built up hundreds of past clients doing that, or doing that in part at least to build that database.
For sure. I think like one practical line that people can use to get connected to other people is like, hey Rakan, like I'm looking to get connected to other business people. Mm-hmm. Who do you know that I should know in the business world?
Yep.
Right. And then you can use it for anything. Hey, Rakan, I'm looking to get connected to contractors. Mm-hmm. Who do you know in the contracting world that I should know?
Yeah.
Right. And just see what they say. Right. And then whoever they give you, go reach out to them, have coffee. Right?
Yep.
Easy connections.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah. I'll just say my piece about that. I mean, these guys talked about it, so I might as well talk about it a little bit too. If you're saying I don't have a database, one, if you've lived in that area, that's straight BS. Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll have people on social media. You've obviously been around the area. One thing I'd said earlier is when you do that export and it's on that contact sheet, mm-hmm. you're going to have missing blanks, basically. So you export a phone contact, you might be missing the address, blah, blah, blah. So it's your job to go fill that out. But then you're going to know other people, like maybe a mutual friend. It's a friend of a friend, right? I know them. I know their first name. Maybe I don't know the last name. Maybe I have their number. Maybe I don't have their number, whatever it is. But I'm still going to put them in that list. And now it's your job to go find and fill in the blanks, basically.
Yep.
And that could be through the friend. That could be through social media. That could be
they win a raffle.
You know where they
have
are.
To call you.
Yeah, right? Maybe you have their address, right? You knew they live in a couple doors down. You know they still live there. Well, you can pull up their address. Then you send them a piece of mail, whatever. So it's your job to go fill in the blanks. Mm-hmm. That's, obviously you lived in an area. Even if you don't live in an area though, it's your job to maybe set a contact goal, right? So I'm going to meet 5 people per week, or if you really want to be crazy, you can do 5 people per day, right? But let's just say 5 people a week I'm going to just talk to and get as a contact, right? So the example I was given earlier, which I think is a really good one, I've started to play a lot of basketball. And when I go to the park, you start seeing a lot of the same people. And we start, you kind of get to the point where you're friends, you're kind of mutual and everything. And, hey, if you ever want to play basketball, you want to text me or call me or whatever. And, we exchange numbers and all. Well, now that's kind of a contact. And as you become friends, you're just talking, contact. You're talking more about, hey, like, they might be saying they can't come out this day because they have this. And tell me more about that, whatever. The conversation can look like absolutely whatever.
Yep.
one thing I'd said earlier is if you really, really don't want to be salesy, it's not that you were being salesy either way beforehand, but let's just say you exchange their number because it's, someone that you played pickleball with and you want to play pickleball again with them, or golf. You could make your contact card your business, right? So I say contact card, it's just your contact at the top of your, iMessage or your iContacts, whatever it's called. And it has like my, first, last name, business photo, as well as, DE Realtor, whatever it is. And then once we start texting back and forth, I might never say anything about real estate, but then it'll give me the prompt once you start texting to share that contact. Well, now my contact comes up with my business photo, as well as the fact that I'm a DE Realtor.
Right.
So that might spark up the conversation too.
Yep.
Now, don't just rely on things like that. I think at the end of the day, you should ask questions that I think would prompt.
You also got the event invites too there, right? That's an easy one.
Say it again.
You got the event invites too, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Even if you don't have their number.
And it's not going to happen overnight, right? Like those people, you're not going to turn someone you just met into a client per se, but you turn them into a contact, and then you turn that contact into a relationship. Client,
Yep.
What's that? When we cold call, because we do that a good bit. Something Greg would always say is like you're not calling for appointments. You're calling for like contacts, basically. Like oh my god, sorry, I'm drawing a blank now. But you're not trying to call to set the appointment. You're calling to just have a conversation because obviously it's a game of following up, right? It's going to be 7 to 20 times. Well, it could be 7 to 100 times that you're going to talk to them before anything ever happens of you following up.
Yep.
So what makes you think it's going to be any different? Like just meeting, random people, whatever, adding to your contact list. It's not. You're going to have to talk to them a million times. But that's real estate. Like it's a game of talking to people and building a relationship. Like.
So I think our whole system, if you have complete contact for somebody, you have name, number, email, home address, and social media. They're probably getting about 80 contacts a year from you, right? 80 touches a year. So postcard, giveaway, raffle, client event invite, client event, email invite, call, text, video text, social media DM, or social media invite to an event, right? So you create that omnipresence where you're just everywhere. Right. They start seeing you everywhere.
Question for you about that.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people with the limiting belief, like when they heard you say 80, they're like, wow, I'm sure like they're annoying people so much. So my question to you is, Rakan and Matt, how many people that is in your database call you guys or email you guys and say, you guys are so annoying, like, please take me out? Like, how many?
Let me talk about this real quick.
Zero.
They love this. They love it. But listen, it's not the calls that you don't call and say, hey, do you have any referrals for me?
Yeah.
Like, bro, come on.
If you call somebody 4 times
I will never
a year,
pick up your phone call ever again.
Yeah. So we talk about this a lot, right? Like, especially with agents getting into real estate. An example I give is everyone knows somebody who's in MLM thing, whatever it's called, right? Like whether it's like some kind of life insurance.
It's Amway, bro. We know it is. It's Amway. Stop selling me supplements, man.
We had Vimo, something with some kind of energy drink, some healthy energy drink went around in high school, and everybody was selling, being part of the organization, but nobody actually sold the drinks. I never saw anyone. Anyway, everyone's been hit up by someone in a situation like that, right? And when you do that, like you're cashing in equity on a relationship to where the next time that person reaches out to you, you're like, all right, what do they want now? What are they going to sell me, right? So you don't call and just say like, hey, who do you know who's looking to buy or sell real estate? Hey, who do you know? Like you don't cash in that equity. You build the equity in the relationship through things like, fun games like we do, like the social media guess the list price game, the event invites, providing value, providing contractor referrals, whatever it is, right? There's a million things we can do. So one, you can have as many touch points as you want if you're providing value. You can do 200 touch points a year if you're providing amazing value, right? And two, people underestimate how many emails and texts and calls and conversations and things like that, postcards that people see every day. Yeah. Like you could probably do a couple hundred a year and people will not even realize it, right? How many emails? Like if I asked you what emails did you read today, could you tell me?
No.
right? Because it's like in one ear and one out the other with how much. Could you tell me what videos you saw on Instagram yesterday?
No,
No, right.
of course not.
So like you have to have more volume in 2025 with how much stuff gets thrown at us.
No,
Yep.
I totally agree. I think these people love it. I mean, they
Yeah.
love getting the call for the client event. They say,
Mhm.
"Oh, please do call me for that."
Yep,
Right. And then,
absolutely.
you know, for the direct mail stuff, like, I mean, some people that I've known for a while, they're like, dude, when we get these, we just laugh because it's so awesome
Yeah.
seeing it. Like, it's just,
I've gotten calls from clients. One of my clients is a business owner, and he was like, "Who does your marketing?" And I was like, "We do." Like, combination of me and our admin, our director of operations. And he's like, "I have this intern that's working for us that's doing marketing at our company. Can I have him reach out to you?" Like, that's how good it is. Yeah.
but like $100 an hour, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll just send you an invoice right after
Yep.
this, man.
There you go.
No, I'm playing. That's crazy.
All right.
So they
Anything
love
else?
it. To answer your question, they love it.
I think the last thing is everyone does everything you guys are saying, right? They start getting referrals.
Mhm.
They start having people reach out to them that want to become clients. Is there anything that you guys systematically suggest, like, to do to reward those things, like, from
Yeah.
people? Anyone? Go ahead. Ricardo.
Yep. So we have a system built out where if you get a referral from someone, you should immediately send them a handwritten note and a gift card thanking them for the referral.
Yeah.
Even if that referral person never reaches out to you, or even if you talk to them and they have, let's say, a 450 credit. I don't even know if they can go to 450. I think 480 might be the lowest. Anyway, whatever.
Low.
It's somewhere in that ballpark is the lowest, right? It's not your client's job to qualify the person that they refer to you, right? You want to reward the behavior, not the result, right? So we do both. So we reward the behavior. If Matt gets a referral from his client Martin and says, "Hey, my neighbor's looking at buying a home. He's renting his home currently." Matt talks to him, or even if Matt doesn't talk to him, immediately we send out a handwritten thank you card. "Hey, thank you so much for referring us to your neighbor. Really appreciate it. We'll take great care of him just like we did with you." And a little Wawa gift card, right? It's not to be crude, but like Pavlov, the dog, right? You have the bell, you have the treat, the dog starts salivating for the bell, right? And then they're conditioned. It's classical conditioning, just a psychology thing, right?
Yep.
So immediately you want to reward the behavior. So we have a Google form filled out. Like if Matt got that referral from Martin, he would just put it on there. Here's Martin's address. Here's who he referred me to. And then he just clicks send, and then Michelle sends it, takes care of it for him, right?
Love it.
And then also you want to keep them up to date as you go, right? And thank him multiple times throughout the process. So as soon as Matt talks to, let's say, John, right? He calls Martin and goes, "Hey, I just got off the phone with John. Thank you so much again for connecting us. It looks like we're gonna be able to help him out, so I really appreciate it. Blah blah blah. Connect with Ford stuff like you were talking about, right? And just keeping them updated every step along the way. You want the feedback loop, right? You don't want what you don't want. And I've sent agent referrals out like this, right, to agents in other states. "Hey, here's this referral. Okay, great. I'll reach out to them." And you never hear anything from them after that, right? I'm not sending anything to that agent again,
Yeah, no doubt.
right? Even if they close it, like you never hear anything from them. You get your check, which is cool, right? That you got paid the referral, but you need the feedback loop. So I do this with agents too. When I get a referral, I'm immediately sending something out to them, just a little something, right? And then when they close, obviously keeping them updated along the way. And then when they close, we usually get them something bigger, like a gift basket, fruit basket, something like that.
Let me ask you a question about that. I just have a quick question. How do you keep track of that? Like, legit question. So let's just say an agent sends you that. I mean, how do you know to send them something like in a couple weeks or whatever? You know what I mean?
Well, you're gonna do it immediately. You're gonna do the first one immediately,
right?
And then if I get this contact, let's say you introduce me to Lewis. Lewis is in my CRM now. In my notes, I have Lewis is a referral from Matt in North Dakota, whatever, right? Anytime I talk to Lewis, I'm also going to talk to Matt, right? Yeah. I'm going to let him know.
Just update him.
I would say, "Hey, just want to give you an update. I was able to connect with him. He looks like he's about 3 months out still. I'll keep you posted," right?
Got it.
So you
Interesting.
just kind of tie the two contacts together.
Right.
And
Makes
then obviously
sense.
when it closes, you can send something a little bigger too.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. What's the next piece of that? I mean, what in terms of those walls? By the way, I feel like we should be asking him questions. Now
I
I'm thinking
know.
about it. It's like he's our guest, and we should be asking him.
Yeah.
Guys, I've talked to plenty.
No. I mean, in terms of those laws, though, do you feel like we hit all of them? Because the last thing is actually following up with them, right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
actually.
I think Rakan, talked about that, as again, just making sure that you're following up with the people
Mhm.
if they reach out, getting in touch with them, right away, taking good notes in there. Yeah, I mean, I think you hit on everything. One thing I will throw out there as far as a tool, when you're calling through your database, is we call it doing the database two,
Mhm.
like a number two. So a way that you can call through your entire database in a systematic way is choose 2 letters in the alphabet that
Yep.
you're going to call through every week, right? So week 1 could be A's and W's, right? So anyone that has a last name with an A or a
Mhm.
W, you'll call that week, right? And so then the next week is different letters. So within 13 weeks, right, which is essentially a whole quarter,
Mhm.
you will get through the entire alphabet, right? And then you start over the
Yep.
next 13 weeks. So if you do that, you'll get through your entire database 4 times throughout that year
Yeah.
in a systematic way.
That's great.
So someone needing something like that.
Yep.
No, I don't think so, man. I think you guys covered the 4 laws. I think people are ready just to get to work.
Yeah. So what are practical steps for someone who's producing maybe at a lower level or they're a brand new agent?
Mm-hmm.
Practical step by step to do something like this, right?
Mm.
So first, you want to get your contacts exported, right? Get them all into an Excel sheet. Then you start cleaning them up, right? Put them into the different columns: name, number, email, mailing address, notes on them, like what's your relationship with them, where do you know them from, what do you know about them, do they have 3 kids, 5 kids, 10 kids, whatever. And then social media, right? So you can, on Excel, you can make a little checkbox and you can just check off, am I friends with them on Instagram, am I friends with them on Facebook, am I friends with them on LinkedIn, whatever it is, right? So get that information out there and then come up with some way to reach out to these people in a value-driven way, right? And then start working on it. And then add in little pieces at a time. We just started doing more direct mail this year, right? It's adding little pieces at a time. We started with 1 client event. We didn't just do 4 in 1 year, right off the bat.
How are you, just to give them, I mean, context, I mean, what are you doing mail through? It's not, is it Mailbox Power, or is that through Lofty or CRM?
We use Wise Pelican.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're good. They've got a ton of templates already built out. Makes it super easy for you.
Got it.
So that's for like the normal postcards, like the standard postcards we send out. And then we do a lot of stuff that we create, that Michelle creates too, that we actually do by hand. Like the St. Patty's raffle that we did.
Got
with
it.
the scratch
So
off,
just go
that was
back and
by
forth,
hand.
kind of.
Yep.
Between.
Goes back and forth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our emails are through the CRM as well.
All the emails through CRM. Yep.
And I mean, we obviously make the calls to the CRM too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We started texting just off of our cell phone, actually, compared to I was doing it. I still do it through Lofty, just depending on the situation. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've had this where you text through the CRM and like it'll always have the message. This was sent by Matthew Davis,
Yeah,
First Day Home Team. Unsubscribe right here.
Right.
And it's like,
yeah, that's a
my
new
goodness.
texting thing, A2P, app to phone. So if you send it not from a phone but from an application, it has that like built into it. Unfortunately, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's it.
I would say the last thing is when you were talking about tracking. No, you're good. That was my fault. When you're talking about tracking people that you've done business with, people that have given you referrals, when you look throughout your year and you're able to look at, okay, what are the sources of all my business,
Mm-hmm.
right? what'll start to appear is like a VIP group for you.
Right.
Right. And that's really powerful when you can see like, wow, like these 20 people like give me a lot of business or do a lot of business with me.
Yep.
When you know that, now you can do something extra special for them. You can like, hey, like if there's anyone that I'm going to be calling or texting, like it's these people.
Right.
But there's a lot of power in that. So if you're not doing that, if you're not tracking what Rakan was talking about tracking, that's not going to become, you know, that's not going to appear for you. And then you're missing out, right, on really like loving on a special group of people that's really loving your business. Right?
Absolutely. Yep. So, and that's something we're working on because we don't have really a whole system built out for that. Again, I like just kind of take people out to lunch or dinner kind of randomly, the people that have referred me a lot of business. But we don't have a full comprehensive system built out for it. So we'll probably do like, I don't know, like golf days, stuff like that. Maybe go to like a Phillies game or something like that, a little more expensive for, you know, clients that refer us 2 or 3 deals a year.
It's, I think it was, I don't know if it was Gary Keller or billionaire Reid Hoffman. Someone said that what they do is pay attention to what humongous companies in other industries are doing. And then how can you put that in your business? And one of the things I noticed, guys, is over the last 5 years, every like S&P 500 company, like the big ones, has some type of rewards thing for VIP people.
Yep.
Starbucks,
absolutely.
How many points do you get, right? Chick-fil-A, you become a red member, then a gold member, and then you, right? Like it's Wawa, like security reward set for Wawa. Humans are addicted to being able to win stuff, to being able to, oh, I got to this level with the rewards, right? So I think like if we can start doing that as real estate business owners in some way, it'll get your database excited to be like, ooh, how can I get more points to earn VIP for the first state home team, right? So
that's true.
Powerful.
My wife's excited because she's a Rouge member at Sephora. Which means you have to spend, I don't know, like $4,000 a year, $5,000 a year.
Spend half of your salary.
She's real proud of that.
but well, I'm thinking about it though. I'm actually that's a really good idea. And originally, I might think like, well, you know, it's easier for like a bigger company, like a Sephora, like a whatever, where you buy a lot of maybe e-commerce things, or not just e-commerce, sorry, but it could be like fast food, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking about it, like there's a landscaping plate, like a, you know, they sell rock and like mulch, like not far. And they do that. And it's like a silver, gold, platinum. And the platinum people get to use the owner's Airbnb.
That's cool.
For like one weekend out of the year or something.
Yeah.
And well, I have a friend who does landscaping, and they're like, we had to spend the extra money to get this platinum. We're so close. Like we're so close to spending this platinum.
Right. Even though
it's like but the reason I mention that is because it's like it's not just a big company thing. It's like no, that's a local that's a local landscaping.
The cool thing is even though they could probably book the Airbnb themselves for cheaper than whatever they might have had to spend to get to that level, it's just the fact that it's really cool that you get to do that, right? Like I've got like the Amex Platinum card. I could, and for the yearly fee, I could probably pay less and get into like a lounge. But the fact that it's just included and like the Amex lounge is just really high level, like beautiful, awesome food, drinks, everything like that. Like it's really cool going there, you know?
That's awesome. I think to your point, that's awesome. Them landscape people, what you just said. But you can start small with it, right? Like how could you do what you're already doing, right? And to sprinkle some VIP action in it. So you guys do your events, right? Is there like a cool VIP t-shirt that just your VIP people can wear the day of your event that everyone else is like, Rakan, man, how do I get one of them VIP? I'll tell you.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Is just like send me a referral, man.
For Stay Home Team VIP.
Yeah, so that's not hard to do. It's just like sprinkling a little bit of like exclusivity into what you're already doing. Right.
No, I love that. Dude.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Keep it. I'm done. This is good.
I think I don't think we can talk about really much else. I know.
No.
How do you guys close this thing out?
How do we close it out?
Yeah, I mean, the way we usually close it out is just, thanks guys for watching the 9th episode. So it's all about SOI, referral-based business.
Check out the last episode. We talked about tactical ways to win at open houses and how to build a business around that lever. And
The next episode is going to be like advertising marketing. So
Yep.
in
Paid
terms of
leads.
buying leads. So 2
Yep.
episodes ago, we talked about 30 homes and with 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So 30 sales with 30 hours,
30
a,
hours
week,
a week.
right? So the idea is there's 3 different buckets. There's SOI, which we talked about today, cold prospecting, which we did open houses, and we'll have more videos on cold prospecting stuff, but open houses are like easily probably the best way to get into the cold prospecting space. And then next we got to talk about advertising marketing. So like maybe where we get our leads,
Right.
what we say, how does that conversation look, what's the whole framework around that. So that's next episode. And we got other episodes too to check out. So I would, including a showing framework, right? So what does it actually look like when you go to a house, you meet somebody for the first time or not the first time? And what's the goal by the end of that? So that way you're not showing a million homes. You'd be much better off asking 100 questions and showing one home than showing 100 homes because you only asked one question. Come on, bro. I hate that shit. Come on, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Where'd you get that script from?
Chill.
All right.
But yeah, no, let's outro here.
Well, I want to know, like, if an agent's watching and like they have a question following up on anything that you guys have and want to pick your guys' brain, do you guys mind if they reach out to you guys, and how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, just shoot me a text. 302-245-7668.
Cool.
That's my cell.
Dox him.
Yep.
Second question: will I be invited back in the future?
Of course.
Okay. That's all I wanna know.
No, I mean,
All right.
I don't even know why he's saying that. This is the second one he's been on. Of course, he's coming back on.
Absolutely.
Listen, he didn't give himself a good enough intro, right? We talked about it, but this is Lewis Nixon, our team leader here at KW Wilmington. This guy runs it. Like, we probably didn't let you talk enough because this guy's a killer. But
so for non-KW people, team leaders like sales manager, I would think for
sales
like
manager,
other
office
brokerages.
manager, like that sort of thing, right?
Yep.
Got it. Manages it. Onboards agents, everything.
Yep.
So
and he'll hop on
if
your
you have
podcast.
questions about KW, this is the guy to ask.
Yeah.
So, that's a good point. How do they reach out to you if they're interested in KW or just curious about splits, everything like that? What does KW provide? How do they reach out to you?
Good question. I would say the same thing. This is my cell. This 610-406-7787. And again, I'm happy to talk about anything in the real estate business and just help you. No strings attached. I just like to learn. I like to help people. So it has nothing to do with you coming to Keller Williams. If you just want to, do some things in your business to increase your business, to increase your wealth building, I'm just here to help. I'm that guy. So
Absolutely.
all right.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.
All right. Thank you guys.
Peace out.
That's a wrap.
If you want to wrestle, we can.